From new age R&B to modern day K-pop, girl groups have reemerged, and this new wave has got me more excited than I've been in years. New projects have been released, my spirit has been moved, and now I'm ready to relax, relate, and release. But the returns of some of my favorite artists have left me wondering, are the comebacks in the room with us? I'm Oakland Jonas Galloway, and this is Shop or Chop. All right, you guys. So I want to talk about another group from the Netflix show Building the Band. I actually want to talk about the season one winner, Frequency, and their appearance on the Zach Sang show this week. And this interview just reinforced something that I've kind of been feeling ever since I've watched them on the show and since they've been releasing music. This group is honestly the most synergistically connected girl group that I've witnessed in real time since Destiny's Child. They honestly feel like they've been together since they were 9 years old. And the reason why I say it specifically like that is because one of the key elements to the chemistry of Destiny's Child was the fact that the majority of the group had been together since they were 9 years old. You know, Beyonce and Kelly had been together for so long, they were actually sisters. And then Michelle came in and slid in just like the perfect third piece to that puzzle. But the way that Frequency was put together, it kind of feels like they were all just meant to be together. And the way that their interview rolled out kind of reinforced that for me because I didn't know before this that Brianna and Winnerly had actually met 10 years ago when they auditioned for The Voice when they were like 14 years old. So the spin the block and the full circle moment on that just kind of reinforces that this was a group that was meant to be together. Do you know what I mean? And the music that they've been putting out also reflects that. Not to mention, if you look at their interview on the Zach Sang show, the way that they move as sisters, it's very warm. It's very warm and it's very homey. Like they feel like your homegirls. These feels like girls I went to school with. And I appreciate that they're making it and that they're having a moment and that they're building on everything that they've been able to achieve with building the band. It really feels like this is a group that you want to root for because of the connection that they have. It makes me so excited for them. You know what I mean? It also kind of takes me back to something that I was saying last week when it comes to Solidified and their appearance on the Zach Sang show. It makes me want to beg Netflix to bring back Building the Band. I know that casting the judges is going to be difficult because, like I said last week, Zayn has passed, RIP. From what we know, Kelly is working on new music. She's working on a new album. She's working on a new tour that's supposed to be coming this year after going on tour with Brandy and Monica. And, you know, Nicole just came back with the Pussycat Dolls, and y'all know how I feel about that. So it's just, I don't know if they're going to have the time to do this, but will you bring this back with different judges? Y'all can do that. Like, it's okay. There are more groups out there, and there are more people that have been in groups that y'all can put on these chairs and in these seats. It just goes back to what I was saying about Building the Band is the best competition show that's based in music since probably the X Factor, because this is the only show that I've seen since the X Factor where the contestants and the winner of the show, you actually see them moving and shaking after the show and doing things that are successful, and you see them growing after the show. So many of these shows like American Idol and like The Voice and all of these shows, you don't really see them after their appearances on the show. You don't see a lot of them do much of anything after the show anymore. You know what I mean? And Building the Band has really created some amazing groups that we see out here working. You know what I'm saying? Frequency has signed to a label. Solidified just signed to William Morris. Patience, that manages Cardi B, is now managing season 4. Like, these groups are being set up for amazing success, which they rightfully deserve. And I just think that this show, Building the Band, has the opportunity to churn out some more amazing groups for us because I think that the market needs it. I love that girl groups have made this amazing resurgence and that it's growing and that, we see more girl groups at prominence, kind of like we had that wave of female rappers pop up a few years ago. But I want to see that expand into boy bands, into guy groups, into actual bands that play instruments like Midnight Till Morning. I want to know what they're doing. They're one of the groups that I want to follow after the show as well. I hope that they're achieving all of the success that they can achieve as well. You know what I'm saying? I just think that this show has so much potential to make great, 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 great artists. Another thing that I want to say about Frequency specifically before I move on to Black Swan is I appreciate the variety that they've been putting into their music while still being able to achieve a consistent through line throughout all of their releases. They've been able to kind of stretch their palette and stretch and bend the genres that they tap into a little bit. They've gone from R&B to kind of popish and had different sorts of influences that shape the way that they approach the music that they've been releasing, and I appreciate that they're willing to experiment, they're willing to test out sounds and see what they can really do and what all sounds fit best with their voices as a collective, but still being able to keep a harmony within everything that they release that feels like it's specifically Frequency, from Top Down to Once I Was a Good Girl to Telephone to Click. Even all of their songs sound like something that they specifically had a hand in. I know that they said on their Zach Sang interview that they wrote Click specifically. I'm not sure if they had a hand in writing all of the songs that they've put out so far, but it feels like they could. If they said it, I would believe it in a heartbeat. I'm really proud of everything that they're achieving right now because they are just, oh, they feel like the next wave. And like I said before, they're just a group that I want to root for. I'm so excited for them. So excited for them. The next group of ladies that's been keeping my ear to the streets is literally ladies who have come to my attention because of keeping my ear to the streets, because I've been in the comments, because I've been watching what you guys have been saying to all of the content that I've been putting out. And when I put out my last Shopper Chop episode, you guys really reacted to me covering Girl Set and Cat's Eye. And in the midst of having your own opinions about those two groups and what's been going on between them and what they individually bring to the table as far as music is concerned, I got an overwhelming amount of suggestions to cover the group Black Swan, right? And I told a few of you in the comments, I respond to as many of the comments as I can. And I told you guys that I'm going to dive into Black Swan and I'm going to report back on the next episode, right? So, if any of you guys were the ones that I commented on, please let me know if you guys saw my comment and if you're watching this again and you're back for the Black Swan review, right? Because I dove into the group and I'm ready to talk, okay? Let's get into Black Swan. Okay, so I see exactly what you all say when you guys say that Black Swan is K-pop, right? And at first, I was a little confused when I listened to the music as to why you all recommended Black Swan in my coverage of Girl Set and Cat's Eye being global girl groups that don't necessarily do K-pop songs anymore, but they still utilize the K-pop system. So then that through line, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I listened to the music again from a different perspective, and it really made me understand why K-pop took over the Western market a few years ago and why there was this huge influx of K-pop music that became popular in America a few years ago and where that surge came from, right? It also made me understand why there became a demand or a necessity for the concept of a global girl group to happen utilizing the K-pop system, because Black Swan is everything that these groups are spawning off of. The idea of this K-pop system, this idea of this training system that Girl Set and that Cat's Eye and that this new group uh 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 the group that World Scout Final Piece is putting together. Um that whole concept is spawned off of groups like Black Swan, because the way that they are able to not only mix singing in English but also speak singing in Korean, and then the choreography style, the visual styling, the growth and evolution, the visual inflection that these girls present to camera, it really kind of shows me exactly what inspired the idea of a girl set and of a cat's eye. More so a cat's eye specifically, because if you look at it, cat's eye fits more into the K-pop training system more currently than say a girl set does. If you look at Cat's Eye, you still see them performing on Korean music shows. You still see them leaning into the K-pop promotion system that put them together in the first place, whereas Girl Set has really kind of fully jumped into the Western market and is leaning full into the American promotional system. But you guys really made a good call on that when it comes to the Black Swan recommendation. If anybody here does not know who Black Swan is, make sure you guys go and look at their visuals, go and listen to their music, and it kind of will shape up where the idea of a cat's eye comes from when it comes to a global girl group and taking that system, that promotional regime, and taking it to a Western market and putting people from that market or from pieces of the world directly into that industry system. Brilliant call. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant call. Thank you guys so much. If you have any guys, if you have anybody else that you want me to look into when it comes to this whole girl group, K-pop, westernization of the K-pop system, let me know. Drop down in the comments, because I really want to dive into not only Black Swan specifically, but more groups and kind of see who else kind of shaped this idea of taking the K-pop system and spreading it throughout the entire world, right? Now, going back to Black Swan just a little bit before I head out of this segment, um, I want to give flowers to the people who put together Black Swan for not only having a Black woman in the group, but also seeing her sing in Korean and seeing her centered in a way that is not um, affirmative action coded, is very pleasant. I appreciate that from what it looks like based on their visuals, the Black woman, Fatu, is being presented as an equal member amongst her non-Black counterparts, right? It feels like her company really cares about her just as much as the other group, and they're making sure that she's positioned accordingly when it comes to everybody else in the group. Now, saying all of that to say, I want to pray, I want to openly pray that she is not experiencing the racism from audiences globally that I imagine that she could be. And I say that with a hint of forced naivete, because I see what y'all did to Manon when she went public on Popstar Academy, right? I see that she got propelled to the top of the rankings because she was the pretty girl. And then when y'all saw the documentary on Netflix, all of a sudden she was lazy, she was this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. So, like, and then on top of that, I've mentioned this before on Shop or Chop, the history of the treatment of Black girls in girl groups always leaves me with a hint of pessimism that I have to lead into every um, evaluation with, right? So, saying all of that to say, drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys know of Fatu's treatment in Black Swan has been so far. I haven't necessarily dived into the full lore or the history of this group and gotten into where they come from, how they were put together, did they come from a survival show, all of that. I've specifically gone and listened to the music to kind of gather my thoughts. So let me know what all you all know about their inception, her history with the group, and if there's something I should be looking out for, either positive or negative. Now, shout out to all the members, but protect for two at all costs. Protect for two at all costs. Alrighty, that's what's been keeping my ear to the streets. Let me know what you guys thought. Next, I'm going to be heading into my shops, and this section is going to be all about project powerhouses. Let's talk. Okay, first up on our shops this week, I'm going to have to start off with Jill Scott, who released her long anticipated, long awaited, long overdue album, To Whom It May Concern. And I'm going to start off by saying that this project is the most glorious return to music that I have seen in years. I've seen a lot of people try to come back and drop projects and do music and do these things, and it feels like music that I want to enjoy, music that is cool, but it doesn't necessarily feel like people are dropping music that is creating a second wave or a second era for their career. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a second chapter for them going forward. It's like them just trying to create a moment of relevance for the moment that we're in. But I haven't seen many returns to music in the recent times that I've seen, oh, this is going to set up the next 10 albums, the next 5 albums, the next whatever is going to happen for them. I feel like there's another breath in their career that's happening. This record is very that for Jill Scott. And it's wild to say that because she's a person who has notoriously stated that she's making music when she feels like it. When she's inspired, y'all gonna get music. When she feels like recording, she gonna record. And when she got an album, that's when y'all gonna get it. But it feels like now the music that she just dropped makes me want to see any and everything that she's about to do. And it feels like this is supposed to set her up for God knows what. Like this album makes me wonder, what is she cooking? What is she building? What world is she creating around this project that we're gonna now be immersed in for the next 10 years? Oh my God. It's so freaking good. And then on top of that, I think what appeals the most to me about this album is the cohesion in the project and the way that it feels like this album is supposed to appeal to people with life experience. This album feels like it's for people who have gone through things, who have seen things, who have heard things, who have experienced things, and who just want to relate, who want to release, who want to take stock, take inventory, who want to just find some like minds and exhale for a minute. You know what I mean? That this album feels like it's for grown folks. And the fact that my reception of this album is so relatable and that I feel so connected to the music and the lyrics that are being given to us, that are being so delicately and so deliciously fed to us, it makes me appreciate the level of mental and emotional maturity that I've been able to accomplish to appreciate a work like this. It really makes me give myself a pat on the back for the amount of growth that I have had to achieve to be able to connect with a body of work like this. This is a project for people who have survived and know how to live on the other side and know how to find the bright side in their darkest moments. I live for it. If I had to pick a standout track on this album, I would have to say that it would be The Math. The Math for me is probably going to be my favorite song on the album because this song is truly about accountability. It's about self-awareness. It's about doing the work and making the pieces of your life that you now have to collect and gather and put together to place this picture for what's going to be the bigger picture of your life. What does all of this mean? You know what I mean? This is truly that inventory record. This is that taking stock record that I need in my life right now. It's good food. It's very, it's good comfort food from your grandma while she sits and talks to you about life and the things that she thinks you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? It's very going over to your auntie house and she fixing you something that she just happened to be whipping up in the kitchen, and y'all sit down and you confide in her about the things that you don't want to talk to your mother about, and she gives you the real ass information. And she tells you things exactly how you need to hear it and not how you want to hear it. This sounds like going to your uncle because you can't talk to your father because you feel like he's going to judge you. But your uncle, while he's not going to tell you anything that is going to steer you wrong, he's going to give you the tough love and the real ass conversation that you need to figure out whatever it is you're going through. The math is, once again, this is a song for people who want to do the work. This is a song for people who want to really take a look at themselves and reflect and really take stock of the person that they're shaping for the next era of their life. And I needed it. This song was right on time. Right on time. Chef's kiss. Next up on my shops, we're going to be talking about William Prize, who just recently dropped his Freshly Wrapped 2 EP. And I just want to start this off by saying that it's wild that my favorite rapper right now is literally my homeboy. Like, it's so crazy to me that I have the privilege of saying that my favorite rapper right now just happens to be my homie. You know what I'm saying? This man, William, I used to work with him back in North Carolina when I moved home after my divorce, and he was somebody at my job that I just instantly clicked with. He was, just a cool ass guy. He was another creative. He was somebody that I was able to match wits with when it came to music. We shared similar interests, and he was just the coolest guy ever, right? When I found out that he did music, I was like, oh, okay, dope. That's very, Fayetteville. Fayetteville men love music. We all get into the vibes, all that type of stuff. Very creative. Fayetteville, North Carolina births a lot of creatives, if you did not know. I mean, just saying. But when I listened to the music, I really became transported. Because William has a level of musical intention, lyrical acrobatics, and stylistic choices when it comes to the way that he creates music that I have not seen since the likes of Fayetteville native J. Cole, or even a Q-Tip or a Mos Def, now known as Yasin Bey, which really speaks to why he's my favorite rapper right now. It really speaks to, out of anybody in this generation that's making music right now, why he's my favorite rapper right now, because Q-Tip and Mos Def, yeah, aka Yasin Bey, those are two of my top 5 ever when it comes to male rappers. And so the fact that stylistically and creatively the way that he makes music has a kindredness to them, there's no way that, one, he's not going to be successful, and that his music is not going to be not only timeless but impactful and successful and huge. But it speaks to why I connected with not only his music but him as a person, because there's so much soul, there's so much experience, there's so much history when it comes to his music. And you just please get into this music. Not only Freshly Wrapped 2, but Freshly Wrapped 1. Get into all of it. My favorite song up until this EP came out was a song called Prize Day. It's it's incredible. Incredible music. It's good food. So if we're going to get into standout tracks, specifically on Freshly Wrapped 2, I want to talk about the song Same For You / Sunny D, right? And this song is the prime example of everything that I just kind of stated when it came to William Price's prowess as an artist, right? This track is so Fayetteville. This song is so Fayetteville. It is so pure. It literally sounds and feels like home. It feels like talking to my homeboys at my old high school. It feels like talking to the dudes that I grew up with. It feels like talking to people who only would know things that I would know because I live in Fayetteville. Like it feels like home. And even outside of that, outside of the North Carolina of it all, outside of the Fayetteville of it all, this song speaks to any true artist. This song truly speaks to anybody who is a creative, who lives, breathes, whose heart pumps the blood of their art, who needs to create. And that is another reason why his music speaks to me so much, is because it not only speaks to my creative ear, it speaks to my creative heart and it speaks to my creative mind. I relate to the music as a creative and the passion that he puts into it. You hear the hunger in the music. You know what I mean? Ooh, it's music that transcends you from rap to hip hop. It really makes you think about the essence of hip hop and where the genre comes from and why more people aren't speaking about their experience in this way, and why more people don't frame the way that they see the world in a way that is not only picture painting, but story illustrating and creatively transcendent to another level of thought process. I think that anybody, any rapper that listens to William Price's music will be inspired. As somebody who used to make rap music, as somebody who used to rap, I'm inspired as an artist. He made me want to get into, whoo, my God. I couldn't be prouder. I literally could not be prouder of my homeboy. Shout out to William. Y'all make sure you go and check out his music. I'm going to link it in the description box below. Make sure you guys check it out. It's okay. So, last on our shops this week, we are going to be talking about Hilary Duff, who just released her new album recently, Luck or something. And the reason why this album is making my shops this week is not only because it is a nostalgia pull for me, because I'm a lifelong fan of I'm a lifelong fan of Hilary Duff. Excuse me. Um, she's literally been around for my entire life. I was a Lizzie McGuire fan, all of the things of the things, but I've also been a fan of her musically. And when I say that this album is literally the best music of her career, this is literally the best music of her career. This album truly shows that there is something to be said about people who take time in between projects and people who go away and live life and need to experience before they create another body of music. Because this album really shows how much she's gone through and how much she's lived through and how much she's been able to achieve with her own level of growth. Um, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to me because this feels like the most authentically connective project that Hilary Duff has released since her album Dignity back in the day, which just so happens to house the song With Love that is the viral choreography challenge that I feel like has been instrumental in bringing this album rollout to the fruition that it's had. But so maybe that is kindred. So maybe that is what it's supposed to be. Like maybe that's what it's supposed to be doing. Maybe this is the full circle. Maybe Luck or something is the little sister or the evolution of the Dignity album. I didn't necessarily think that far into it when I was piecing my notes together for this episode, but one thing that I did have in my mind just off of the top was that this album feels like a growth from Dignity. It feels like the album that I've connected to the most, or the body of music that has resonated the most with me since her Dignity album. Um Incredible work. Incredible work. And she also sounds the best that she's ever sounded on music. You know what I'm saying? She's never been a vocal powerhouse or she's never been a singer by any means, but she sonically sounds the best that she's ever sounded on these songs. And I feel like that speaks to not only her maturity as a person, her maturity as an artist, but her finding and creating music that truly fits her and her voice specifically. My standout track for this album is definitely going to be We Don't Talk. It's definitely going to be We Don't Talk. And I know what you guys are thinking, and it's not just because of the subject matter. It's not just because of the Haley Duff of it all, but this song is just so beautifully created. It's so beautifully arranged. It's so beautifully produced. It's so beautifully sang. The vocal arrangement and the melodic cadence used in this record truly illustrates for me the emotional roller coaster that the lyrics are trying to convey, right? Um, this entire song feels like it was synergistically created together. It feels like it was all created in one room at one time, in one session, in one emotional lapse. And from the beginning to the end, it just feels like a story. It feels like an experience. This song feels like a flashback in your mind almost. And it's wild because as somebody who doesn't have a good relationship with my own sisters, excuse me, as somebody who doesn't have a good relationship with my own sisters, it really did kind of make me think about the roots of why those relationships have dissolved and why they've disseminated. And, um, while I don't necessarily have the same reception or the same feelings as Hillary does on this song, it did leave me with a level of nostalgia or a level of reflection when it comes to my sisters, and I do miss them. This song definitely did make me miss my sisters 100%, but if I had to choose a side, if we were choosing sides in this song when it comes to my position and my sister's position, when it comes to this record, I would probably be Haley Duff. And I would be the person who's not willing to talk about it. So, beautiful song, beautiful gowns, but shout out to Hillary. I hope that you and Haley are able to mend that one day and you guys do find a way to talk about it and talk about something, if not anything and everything. Just find something to talk about at some point. I'm not sure what the dissension of your relationship has been, but I hope that at some point time heals the wound, right? I hope that enough time passes that the wound does eventually heal for you guys. But what I will say overall about the Luck or Something album is that this album is for any Hillary Duff fan. This is truly an album for Hillary Duff fans. Specifically specifically musically, but if you're a fan of Hillary Duff at all, whether it be the acting, whether it be the music, but if you're a lifelong Hillary Duff fan, this is the album that you need to listen to. You need to listen to this album. All right, everybody, that has been my shops for the week. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about the albums that I covered in this week's segment. Let me know if you guys like the standout tracks that I chose from the projects that I chose for this week. And if you guys have any other songs from these projects that you feel like I should be paying a bigger focus to that were your standouts. Let me know if you have any other project that you think that I should be covering in future episodes that I'm going to be covering all albums from. And without any further ado, I'm going to take a quick break and we're going to get into the chops. Alrighty, the time has come for us to get into our chops for the week. And for this week, I wanted to cover all people who are making comebacks, whether it be more recent comebacks or making comebacks that we haven't seen in music from them in years, right? And first up on the list, I want to talk about the Pussycat Dolls. right? Because you guys have seen me talk about them a lot recently. And like I said in the video, in the emergency episode of Shop or Chop that I released the other day, I'm going to be covering their new song, Club Song, on this episode, right? And as you can see by where it placed in our show, I don't like it. um, Let me start with the fact that this song sounds dated. This song sounds extremely dated. This song sounds extremely rehashed. This feels like a song that you guys decided not to put on the Doll Domination album. This feels like a throwaway record that you guys, you know what? This song, Club Song, feels like the song that y'all chose Bottle Pop over. This is the song that y'all decided to put Bottle Pop on the album over Club Song. And now y'all are bringing it back and rehashing it. And y'all just dropped a couple oohs and ahs from Kimberly and Ashley to make it feel like y'all are including the girls on the record, right? And even diving further into that, the fact that the fans are celebrating being able to hear literal whispers of Kimberly and Ashley on this record pisses me off to a level of no end. On a couple levels. Because, like I said in my last video, I believe it was Ashley specifically that stated that she hoped to have a bigger voice sonically in the new released music that comes from the Pussycat Dolls, right? And when the song React came back, it was once again Nicole and the girls. And even when we got the acoustic version of that song, it was literally the girls doing doo-wop pop. It was Nicole and her doo-wop pop chicks giving ooh ah ah with no sensation. And the fact that y'all have put us as fans through all of this, through a new song that was incredible in React, a tour that got pushed back because of COVID, and then a tour that got canceled because Nicole couldn't get the majority stake in the business that she wanted, to y'all coming back years later and being Nicole and less girls and announcing this tour and dropping this song, and this is what we get. This is the song that we get. I don't understand this. That like where are the people that did React? Where are the producers from React? And where were the people who were putting together that EP that y'all were working on back in 2019, 2020? Because y'all need to call them back. This is horrible. And if this is what, yeah, I just, I'm just going to say this. It's clear that this is a throwaway. This is insulting and it is a chop. And at this point, I am over PCD. I am done with the Pussycat Dolls. I don't know what else to say. I am probably still going to cover them because I just want to see how this story plays out and what's going to happen and how long this iteration of PCD Forever is going to be. I want to see how long Forever is. So I'm probably still going to talk about it, but I'm not tuned in as a doll anymore. This is a mess. I'm out. Next up on the chops this week, I want to talk about Maya the Dawn and her new song, Let's Be Clear, right? And the reason why this is a chop for me is because it's not that it's a bad song, it's just that I'm disappointed. And I'm going to explain why, and I hope you guys can understand what I'm talking about by the time I get through with this, okay? So when it comes to Maya the Dawn, let's be clear. This is a good song, right? But see, the problem is that's just it. It's just a good song. And every song that Maya the Dawn releases, they're all just good songs, right? When it comes to Maya's releases, it feels like she's constantly releasing album cuts. And I am constantly finding myself wondering, where's the single, right? Where's the single? It feels like Maya the Don is spending all of her time trying to duplicate the viral success that she got off of Telfie instead of taking the success that she got from Telfie and elevating past that to her next level of success to try to get to um, either expanding the core audience that she's built or even expanding to new listeners, right? Outside of what would fit her core fan base, is what I'm trying to say. It just feels like she's trying to keep replicating and keep getting the success that she got off of Telfie, and she got comfortable with that, and she doesn't want to break through that glass ceiling and reach another level of potential. And that's disappointing to me because she's so good. Especially for somebody who claims she just started rapping right before she made Telfie. She really just started trying to really rap and took rapping seriously right before she made Telfie, and then it popped for her. And she's been able to maintain and continue to make good music and release an entire mixtape called Hot Commodity that came out a couple years ago, and still release these singles. And she's been able to have a level of success where she remains in the conversation, but she's not able to grow. And that's what's frustrating about Maya's career for me, is that she's not growing anywhere. She's not growing past this, okay, this song is popping in the hood. Like, this is popping on the playlists of, the people who found you with Telfie and stick to you because we love you with Telfie and the stuff. Like, it feels like you're making music for the core fans of Telfie and you're not expanding past that, right? I noticed this really when she dropped the song 10, right? And I was excited when that song came out because there was this whole push and there was this whole wait that happened with 10, I think because of the sample clearance and all of that other type of stuff and the business and the politics on the back end to get the song released. But there became this anticipation for the record and people looking for it and waiting for it. And I was one of those people because I'm a Maya the Dawn fan. I was waiting for it. The snippet that she dropped was everything. It sampled the song by the Dream 10. And then when it came out, I was taken aback a little bit because my reception to the song was, I started to wonder if Maya the Dawn had ran out of things to rap about already. Already. It felt like she doesn't have anything else to say. It feels like now she's popping, she got a little money, and she's bigger than the girls that are in her hood, and now she popping it on bitches that she used to beef with on the block. And I'm disappointed because Maya has bigger fish to fry. Maya has bigger fish to fry. I don't understand why we're not getting a Maya the Dawn album while we're waiting for Lotto, while we're waiting for Lola Brooks' next project, while Carisha is sitting here cooking and JT is back in the lab figuring out what the hell she getting ready to put out next. I don't understand why Maya the Dawn is not in this constant rotation and why she's not on tracks with Flo Milli and Megan Thee Stallion and Lotto and Glorilla, and why she's not linking up with these girls. Like, I see her in the ciphers on the internet with these girls, but I don't see her moving and shaking in the circles. I don't see her linking up and doing music and on the road and going on the tours with these girls. Who is Maya's team? And how do we need to get them to figure that out? Because Maya has way too much potential and way too much career left in her. She has way too much to do to be sitting around making songs that all feel like they belong on the same mixtape. Do you get what I mean? It's not that the music is bad, it's just not anything new. There's no progression. And it's truly disappointing. I'm ready for her to grow. I'm truly ready for Maya Dawn to grow. Last song on our chops for the week. I want to talk about Ja Rule and his new song that I discovered called Shot to the Heart. Um, this song for me was exactly that. A shot to my heart. I am so this song sounds like a Ja Rule AI cover. This song sounds like somebody on TikTok impersonating Ja Rule. This sounds like a Ja Rule impression. This sounds like someone stole Ja Rule's soul. I This is not the Ja Rule that I grew up idolizing. This is not the Ja Rule. This is not the Ja that was one of the men that made me want to rap. This is not the Ja Rule that's in my top 5 or my top 10. This is not, I don't know who the hell this is. This sounds like somebody let the air out of Ja Rule's vocal cords. Like, what is going on with this record? It just sounds depressed. The whole song sounds depressed. It sounds sad. And even on a sad ass song like Rainy Days with the queen of sad ass music, Mary J. Blige, Ja Rule brought the energy. Even on every sad ass song this man has done, Blood in My Eye, this man still had a level of fire in his heart, in his delivery that connected me to the music, even if it wasn't about having a party, going out, shaking ass, and doing all the fun shit. Like, even if it wasn't a fun record, even on the serious records, there was a captivation that Ja Rule always brought to every song he put out. And this ain't it. This is not it. Who the hell is this for? What fan of Ja Rule's is this for? Like, is there some sort of through line from Juice WRLD to Ja Rule that I don't know about? Like, is there some sort of connection? Is there some sort of red string pinned to Ja Rule from this generation of depressed ass melancholy rappers like XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD and those girls? Like, is that what this is? Is this Ja Rule's attempt to connect to those fans, his internet fans? Because I don't, because this can't be for the people that grew up listening to Ja Rule. Who is this song for? And is there a project coming? And is there going to be more of this? Because if there is, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. I don't like it. I don't I don't like that. I don't like that. We need something different. You need to go call Juvenile, producer. Or maybe you need to go call Juvenile. Cause what is going on? Like, baby, you need to go call Juvenile and figure out what it is that's inspiring him to rap again, and figure out where you can find that in New York in your life. Because whatever is in Juvie's cup is cranking out what we need. But this, you don't ever need to drink whatever you was drinking when you was in the studio making this. You don't ever you don't ever need to go in the studio when you feel like whatever you felt like when you made this song. You need to go talk to your wife or somebody. You need to go talk to a therapist. You need to go talk to Ashanti. You need to go talk to somebody. Go talk to Charlie Baltimore, Vita, anybody, Lloyd, call somebody. Because this is not what you need to be doing. At all.
At all.
Okay. Get it together, Shantae. Get it together. Get it together. All right, everybody. That has been our episode of Shop or Chop for this week. Let me know what you guys thought about my commentary for the shops, the chops, and what's been keeping my ear to the streets. Leave me your suggestions. Let me know what you guys think I should be covering, what you think I'm missing. Expound on the opinions that I gave on the episode, and let me know your thoughts on what I covered today. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the shows coming out on this channel, and follow me on social media. Once again, I'm your host, Oakland Jonas Galloway. And until next time, stay blessed. Peace.